Good to see you all. Good to see some of you back. A bit quiet last week, so it's good to see you. So we're into February and new project. So this project that I've chosen for this month is called Painting into the Light, or Painting contre Dieu, which basically means against the light. It's a French expression. So last year we had a project called Painting Atmospheric Paintings, Atmospheric Landscapes. And one way in which we create some atmosphere of paintings is through lighting effects. And the idea of painting sort of with the light source behind or straight ahead of you is a device that artists use and have used on numerous occasions. So I thought I'd show you some of my examples and some examples out of books.
Hi, Charles.
So this will be the sort of thing where you kind of got your light source in the distance. Okay, so that's that one. This was a sketch I did a week or so ago, just of I think from Westcliff, the mud flats, and the light reflects. So the light was sort of up here and reflecting on the mud there. Really, any kind of if you're doing some sort of sunset or sunrise where you're looking towards the sun, that's going to be this kind of thing. And what you find is things like boats will get silhouetted; they'll appear darker than they would if the light was shining on them. So that's that one. This one, again, another sort of partly finished demonstration piece. I ran a workshop a few weeks ago. So this was from a photo I took at Two Tree Island. So you kind of got, looking directly into the light. Figures get very silhouetted, boats get silhouetted, and then you get little bits where maybe the light might catch different bits, like little kind of halos around people and bits reflected on the boats. So that's that one, and there's one more somewhere. So this was another kind of painting demonstration I did for an art club. And I find that quite often I'll send a few images in of possible subjects, and quite often, they might choose something that has got dramatic lighting. But again, the light's up here, we've got the lovely silhouettes, clouds thrown into silhouette, so you get kind of quite dramatic contrasting clouds, as well as little bits of reflected light. So that was what I thought might make quite an interesting theme for us for February. I brought a couple of books in as well. This book, I got this one last year, and it's just on this theme. So this artist, I quite like her work, Jenny Atkins. She's got a nice way of evoking the sense of light through some of her work. So there's a few examples in here I thought I'd just show. So it's the sort of thing you can apply to all sorts of things. It could be like a seascape type thing, like I've been doing. Equally, it could be a townscape or cityscape, where say the figures are against the light, so they're almost like silhouetted. It's got woodland scenes, that would work. You get these lovely sort of dramatic sort of shadows. Where you got a kind of low light, you get these nice dramatic shadows. So that's a few examples from her. I've got a couple more books. This my favourite old books that I bought many years ago. So this is an artist called Bill Jacklin, and a lot of his work, again, he uses this as a device, as a painting design device, figures in the scene, but again, they're all the lights further out and they're silhouetted. And then these were a couple of paintings he did of Grand Central Station. So he's an English artist or British artist, but he lives in America. He's one of the Royal Academicians we've got. So that's him. And then another artist you might come across is Ken Howard. Come across him, Ken Howard? Yeah, so once you know his work. So he died fairly within the last few years. Ken Howard died, but he was a Royal Academician and a very influential artist. He was sort of war artist and things like that. But a lot of his paintings and his compositions, he did a lot of kind of outdoor work. So he's an artist that outdoor artists really admire and hold high esteem. But again, you know, the figures are almost like form little abstract shapes. So there are details there, but they're not the first thing that catches your eye. So, and then this is quite interesting, where you get these almost sort of transparent looking things. So that could be like, you know, in this case it's like windbreakers, but it could be like the sails on a boat and things like that. So you get quite interesting sort of magical kind of lighting. There are also, interiors, so it could equally apply to an interior. Yeah, something like that one, you know, where you've got the light source from the windows and then things like the easel and the figures are all silhouetted. So it could be quite, I think, quite an interesting design device to use in your paintings. So I don't have, I mean, I've got one or two, well, there were one or two images here that I kind of looked through the photos that I've taken. I've also been taking a few recently myself. So that was one of Southend I took last week. And there's one or two others that are in my collection, so you could, you know, sort of fit the bill where you got the light source within the painting. And things like the trees, you know, they're very silhouetted. Here they appear a bit darker, perhaps a bit lighter here. But there's no, I can't see any green anywhere there. They're all other colours really. So that's something interesting to look at. I don't think I'll do a demo today, but I think what I'll do is probably another week. I've got a few photos here that I've got. So this was a photo I took, basically one morning I took lots and lots of photos, just we were out and taking the dog for a walk in Lee. And just walking down these steps, he wanted to go down the steps, so we had a good wander around here. I took that photo and I thought, and at the time, what I tend to do is take lots of photos. So I'm always on the lookout for interesting subjects that we can either use in class or I can use in my own paintings. So that's one of about 20 or 30 photos I took just while I was walking down these steps, because I thought, well, it's a good scene, but I'm not sure it's going to be the perfect angle. So, you know, it's great if you can get your own references, take your own photos. So I did that. I printed that one off, and I thought, well, that's a bit annoying. That kind of distracts a little bit. Maybe I'll crop it a bit. So I then printed it again, and that was a little bit more zoomed in. And I think that's a nicer composition. So this is what you can do with your photos. You could, you know, crop bits off, change the shapes of them. And then I thought, well, actually, I could probably crop it even more. I thought, I don't need the top of that tree. So I then went for that, just a really pared down, simplified view. So I think probably next week, you know, what I might do is have a go at doing a demo from that. And I thought that probably conveys the feeling that I had walking down those steps, a little bit more so than that one did. So so that's a few ideas for you. As I say, so there's probably some photos within my collection that are this kind of lighting, if you fancy this as a project. And I've got a few other photos I can print off. I basically was down to about 2 bits of photo paper yesterday, so I ordered some more, so I can print some more up, you know, in a week. But that's kind of what I've got to so far. Like the sound of that? Does that sound all right? Yeah. So that's it, guys, and then I'll do a demo next week.